One of my loyal stihl 44s firewood today. I love this song.
gotta get me a city spot.
Okay, this is an old 44 I've had for a while. It hasn't been run in a long time. These are just under 13 pounds. I liked them better than the old 46. Actually, I really did. I gotta admit, the 46 has got the grunt. The 44, you're depending on our RPMs of being real sharp. I wasn't even gonna make a video today, but Cullen and I's got a task to do. We're doing our winter's wood. Well, not all of it, but some of it. So, we're cutting, we're splitting, and on our back porch, we have 8 foot, that's a row, 4 foot high, and it makes a face cord. And so we're just putting, we'll put 10 cord back there, and then I'll save the rest, just to run saws with, guys. Nice to run this saw. Oh my goodness, there's a donkey hollering. That's Willow. I tell you what his problem is. Over at my brother's house, he's got some winter pears. And if these guys, these mules and donkeys, see somebody outside, they think they're going to get some pears. And I should give them some, but I'm not going to. I got work to do. And he just, Willow's a crybaby. He just straight out is. When they came out with a 44, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It was to compete with the Husqvarna 272, all right? Now, that was at the same time when both saws came out very close to each other. That I went through Soren Eriksson's from Sweden, game of logging school, and learned how to cut properly. Oh, I could cut trees like crazy, but I didn't realize that there was a much better way, which is open face bore cut. That's what we use here in the Northeast hardwoods. If you cut our hardwoods, you'll understand why we use them. Just like I'm sure that if I went on the West Coast, I'd find out why you use the Humboldt. It's just a different way of doing the same darn thing. It's whatever works regionally, right? Whatever you get used to. This is what it's all about. Now the axe I'm using today happens to be a very favorite axe of mine. I see it was starting to surface rust, so I thought I better put it in some firewood. I don't use it lots. I do an easier wood. It's a bucket special with a Vulcan head on it, a Kelley Vulcan. Guys, I like the Kelley heads. It's not that I collect axes, but I got a few, I mean more than a few, Kelleys of different ones. And but this bucket special's got a 40-inch handle, and I'm gonna tell you, it does a really, really nice job splitting. So, when you see it swinging, that's what we're doing. Well, I think I better get back to work, hadn't I? Something interesting, the old timers around this area, because they used the same axe for everything, they'd have one sharp side and one dull side, because the dull axe in our hardwood splits better. Okay, I had to find it. Boy, them butts, I'll tell you. I'm moving slow today. I'm not in a real energetic kind of way today. You don't have to swing it hard in this stuff. I love splitting ass. Pay attention. Okay. In the interest of getting something done, like I said, today wasn't a day that I was going to make a video. But why not, right? Absolutely, why not?
That's a nice big
That's that
piece.
bad naughty one, ain't it?
Yeah.
Little love taps. Those of you that don't have ass, wow, that sucks. We're not going to have it much easier, guys. We just aren't. It's done. Emerald ash borer. That dang old donkey. Boy, that one log is rough going.
Yeah, it is.
That one is.
Really dense. Nuts.
Double-hearted bugger is what it is. Somebody cocked down a little crooked, Colin.
Hey, what?
Got another load, huh?
Another load that quick. See that mean?
Okay. Gotta have me another sit down. Now, what I do, don't wear yourself out. You got all day to do this. I like to go through ones that's got double hearts or plain crazy to split. Roll them off to the side. I'm not afraid to buck them in two with a chainsaw lengthwise. I'm not. It's what gets the job done. This isn't about look at my saw or look at me. This is about actually what I do during the day to get my wood. If you notice, I use this axe handle kind of like a cane. When I have to bend over, I put my weight right on my axe handle. And that takes about 3/4 of the weight off my body. 'Cause I got rods in my back, a lot of you guys know that. I got no knees left. I'm old, fat, and out of shape. So for me to keep up with the young fellers, I gotta pick my battles wisely. Just straight away. That's why I like lighter chainsaws. Okay? I like big power, no question. But my whole deal is, I want as much power as I can get in a light of a chassis as that I can have. It's a nice balance. And at 12.9 pounds for an empty power head, the 44 was a really good choice for me. Way, way back. To tell you the truth, I wanted the 272. I really did, a Husky. But when I went to the dealer, they didn't have any. Well, it wasn't very far from the stihl dealer. I went over there. Well, we got the 44, brand new saw. Well, I didn't know a darn thing, but I bought one. And I've been using a 66 Magnum logging. That 44 went only about half as fast. You know something, at the end of the week, I got more done. I'd get one load of logs every week more with a 44 in these hills and mountains and up these ravines. I wasn't lugging so darn much weight around. Even though it was slower, I was faster. And there he is. He's getting another whole buggy load. This little cart's been an asset, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You ain't got to start the tractor. We got horses and mules and donkey looking at us. Well, okay, so I'm going to get back to work here and see how much more I can get done. Well, I can tell you one thing, guys. I had to come in and sit down. We've got most of what I want to do today done. Don't need to do it all at once, just need to get working on it. I want 6 face cord on that porch in the event we get caught with a snowstorm. Quite honestly, from here on out in western New York, you can get snow. It's not normal. That's not. We normally don't get snow until about a week before Thanksgiving, actually, of any real amount. We've been having frost, though, not on the ground, on roofs, windshields, that kind of thing. I really like that Vulcan had, that Kelley Vulcan on that bamboo handle that Buckin did up for me. I found that head actually local here in a secondhand store. It's a nice head. It was $2. Yep, $2. They wanted $5 for it. I know, Harv, why don't you just pay the $5? Because I wanted it for $2. Now, at farm auctions, you find interesting pieces like this. Okay? Now, this is rather unusual. It has a handle in it, but what it is, it's a True Temper. Hopefully you can read that. Kelley Perfect. I know. Why don't you just put a handle in it? I bought one. It's right over here in the corner. This one isn't broke yet. Okay. This was hung, obviously, quite a long time ago. But these old farm tools, I mean, the nails drove in the end of it. Isn't that crazy? You just, I'll tell you what they do. Some of the old timers used to take a friggin' hammer and beat the eye, just flatten that to try to get that tighten up on the handle. Yeah, I know. I've got a head over here that somebody did that too. I'm gonna fix it. It's a good enough head that I can use it. Guys, I normally don't talk much about the axes. I started splitting wood at a very young age with an axe. We didn't have split mauls. There's a bunch of you out there know what I'm talking about. If you couldn't do it with an axe, you did it with a maul and wedges. Yes, you did. No split maul. Now, why didn't somebody way back then in the 60s say wedge, hammer? But they didn't. I didn't think about it. Boy, I'd beat myself right to death. First thing you do, you make the axe handle look like this. Well, first axe handle I broke, which didn't take very long, even at 7, 8, somewhere in there. Dad says, well, now you broke it. Here's a new handle. Put it in. Well, it had never been taken out. Well, they used to put like an epoxy or plastic melt. You know, it was something pretty substantial on the top of the heads right here, right? Well, how you get that out? Well, you drill. So you do all that. Handle broke right off. We had a home comfort cook stove. I have one right over here. It's 2 bays over from here. And the firebox needs some attention, but the grates are great. And Barb and I was talking the other day of maybe this next year getting that old stove out. It's beautiful. It's that speckled robin egg blue that some of them were. And rebuilding that firebox so we could use it. Boy, them little jokers, boy, I'll tell you, heat. And this one you can burn coal in, which we never would, but you can. But what do? Boy, I get sidetracked so fast coming from cutting wood to showing you a darned old axe to that. But it all leads to one circle. So Dad says, well, now he says, the way you got to learn this, he says, that head's swelled up. We didn't put our axes inside. We put them on the back porch. This is a practice I still do. But the problem is, once they're shiny and the oil's wiped off of them, set them on the back porch, they'll get a little surface rust. But we don't worry about it. Because the minute you start using that, you split 2 or 3 cord of wood with a friggin' axe, I'll guarantee you that thing shined right back up. Oh yeah, it does. I am so guilty. I should, with these vintage heads especially, be oiling them when I'm done with them. I should. Don't leave your axe out in the rain, guys. You'll have a rotted handle. Keep it under cover, but keep it where natural atmosphere and stay with it. So anyway, Dad says, well, just chuck that old axe head right in that oven there and that stove. Now, what we used to do, just like everybody around, you left the oven door open, right? And you just put that axe head in there. He says, now tomorrow morning, this was a late Friday. He says, now tomorrow, he says, you'll drag that out of there and that'll darn near fall out. So after breakfast, and in my family, breakfast wasn't 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. It wasn't at 7, at 5:30. That's right. And if I had to go up on the farm milk cows, it was 4:30. This is the way it worked. But I wasn't always up there. I just went up and helped whenever they needed it. So, took that axe head, little drift punch, boom, boom, popped right out. I couldn't have done nothing to get that out the day before. But throwing that in that oven, this is how things were done, you know. But this head actually is not loose. It's not. It's a horrible, ugly thing. I use it to split wood for this little stove that my friend Eric Nelson brought to me from Massachusetts. You guys, some of you wanted to know what this stove actually was. I guess I'll show you. Glenwood cabinet, number 14. I love the stove. I do. I love the stove. Never forget where your roots are from. Honestly, just believe me, it's important. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. I should have this documented before I pass on, because some other members of the family that are way younger than me or are up and coming, at least maybe they'll hear something. My family come in around Jasper, New York, which is just over the hill from us. It had to have been about 1740. And there, if you look up Jasper, New York, coming into Jasper, you'll see a road name. It's Drake Hill Road. I'm a Drake. Well, obviously, that's my ancestors. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Asa or Elijah. I think maybe Elijah. Yeah, they use biblical names way back. He ended up getting this pet bear cub, lost its mama. I think it was a hunting accident from what I understood, but nobody could verify that. And he growed this bear cub up. It was a boar bear, which is male. Oh, you know what? That bear was just like a dog with him. Well, back then, it was popular to wear long, like pea coats or something. He particularly had a buffalo robe coat, which at that time, that was kind of a state of fashion, from what I gather. It was long. Well, that bear got to be awful big. Awful big. It was a black bear, but people they don't get only 500-600 pounds. Bull crap. They get big. Not all of them, but once in a while there's one that's big. This was just a darn big bear. Well, he went down to the sawmill there in Jasper at the end of Drake Road. The site's still there, but there's no evidence of it. And they were talking about lumber. Now, if you remember back then, the sawmills were these vertical. Yeah, push pull up and down. That was a lot of work. You had a man in a pit and a man on top, and that's how you did your lumber. Yes, that's how that mill worked. Looked like a crosscut saw, but a lot bigger. Yeah, and right after that, I think they turned that into a drag saw, which was a powered mill, and it just kind of, anyway, you guys can look all that up and see what they're like. So he's standing there, and it was coming up on dark, and he had to walk about 2 miles back to his home. Now, picture, this is when the area was first being settled. They were clearing fields. There would be stumps in the field. They generally let them rot several years and then pull them out with a stump puller with horses. They would build a piece of machinery that pulled them straight up, and that worked. I seen one in action up on the farm once. That, or they'd blow them with dynamite or whatever explosive they had. I don't know if even dynamite was invented yet. I know they used black powder too. Well, the fellow that run the sawmill wasn't a Drake, but he was good friends of the family, and he had married one of the Drake girls. And he told Elijah, he said, Elijah, that bear, he says, someday that bear's going to maul you. No, I've had him 4 or 5 years, never been a problem. No. He tolerates you right now. He says, I can see the look in his eye when you turn your back. Now, there's something to that, isn't there? He says, if you ever fell, that bear would kill you. He says, I'm just letting you know what I see. He says, well, I've never noticed any. He says, no. He says, because it's when you turn your back. He is afraid enough of you or has enough respect. He's not going to bother you. Elijah, now they had muskets back then. You guys know what the deal was. So he's got this long coat, it's a buffalo robe coat, and he's walking down this. It's just a dirt road. It's a hand dug. It's a horse trace is what it is. And there's stumps along the road and a little bit of a bank. And there was a piece of fence up through there from pulling stumps in the stump fence. And he got thinking, well, it got down dark. That bear's following. He says, but he never thought about it. But he got thinking, that bear used to walk beside me or walk ahead and look back. He says, he's always walking behind me, just behind me. So I'll tell you what he did. He kind of whomped behind one of them big stumps along the road and shucked that coat off. He did. You know what happened? Don't even have to tell you, do you? Mm-hmm. Kabang! He had a bear rug, because that mauled that colt. So they were right. Wild animals, if they're tame, in some cases, still stay wild. Now, that was a prime example. I never forgot. I was told that story about 4 or 5 years old for the first time. We had so many stories in our family. So many. It was just crazy. And I want to share a bunch of them with you. I really do. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed your being here. Thank you, new subscribers. Comment section in the last video. Crazy good. Loving it. I love you guys. Goodbye.